Okay. Been overdue for another video update. Um, it is, God, what is today? The 25th. Let's start with lab updates because should have been from forever ago. So some of us on days met with the day shift processor and kind of talked about different ways that we could work more efficiently together. And one of the things was whenever we're calling about labs, all the neat little sheets that we put up all over the place are the specific numbers to get a hold of the section that actually runs those. So urines are under hematology for some reason, because I don't know, blood and pee. And then like chemistry is another one. A reasonable time frame for a BMP to come back is about 45 minutes, and that's like no criticals, right? So if there's someone that we are actually worried about or want to get a CT on sooner rather than later, like feel empowered to get an iStat. We can put out the validation paperwork again. Anybody with a bachelor's can validate anyone. And we know that it's kind of a tedious process to revalidate, but because this is everybody's 6-month validation, we'll get these done, and then when we do yearly skills validations, that's when we'll do the yearly validation, then it'll be annual after that. So that should prevent this kind of thing from happening again. We've been putting 2 mint tubes in all of the lab bags because that can help a lot of the chemistry stuff run faster. If like let's say send 2 mint tubes and they're running a BMP and troponin, but then they want to add on a hepatic and a magnesium, they can either cancel and reorder, or they can just run that second tube. So that's why we started doing that. Another thing that's been coming up with labs is we're not checking the PTT before we start the heparin. The blue tubes that you send down with the initial rainbow are only good for 4 hours. So before you start the heparin, call down and make sure that they still have it and it's still good. Because otherwise trying to titrate the heparin can be an absolute nightmare. And because that's happened 2 or 3 times recently. So that's like it's an easy thing to forget because we don't titrate heparin, so it's easy for us to forget to look at to have the initial. And you don't have to have the result, you just have to have it running, okay? Speaking of heparin, that kind of leads me to another clarification. On the checklist, when it says all stat meds given, let me clarify that to just being a little bit more specific. Antibiotics and curative things need to be started. So like cardizem, heparin, antibiotics, things like that. If they're their home meds, I'm much less concerned about that because I bet they didn't mean to order it stat. What else do I have? They're pregnant patients getting CTs or X-rays anywhere involving, the baby zone. They will ask us to they will bring us a consent to be signed, and it will go down to CT with the patient. If we are sending down like just a little bit of urine, right? Like if all we can get out of the patient is 1 ml, we should call down and let them know, hey, we either just need the UA or the culture. Like, you can't do both off of just 1 ml. But for like your neonatal sepsis, or really anybody that's septic and we need the culture, clarify with the physician what's more important in the moment. Is it the UA or is it the culture itself? If there's any question at all about what label to use on a tube, just use a chart label. Some people are putting COVID stickers on urines or urine stickers on blood, and that makes no sense. So my guess is it wasn't intentional. But yeah, use chart labels for any extra tubes. And if you're not sure at all about what label to use, just use a chart label. It's faster if you use the lab labels, but don't run the risk of mislabeling anything. Talked about the lab phone tree. For add-ons, just tube the stickers down and write add-on on it. They're working on a much better process for that, because this is a clumsy process for add-ons. But as part of the Oracle refresh, which is starting with the plan for it to be finished by September. So for those of you that haven't heard, I think I talked about it before, but Beacon we are just doing a near complete reset with Cerner, and the ERs are going to upgrade to LaunchPoint. I'm not sure if the inpatient side is going to do any changes, but we're going to go to Cerner model. So instead of all the kind of customized stuff that we have, we're going to go to what Cerner recommends and then make small changes based on what we need. For when you're giving blood, make sure to leave that paper that's on there. Make sure to leave it on there. If we're sending a patient back to Epworth, like they're a patient at Epworth, they came over because they need lac repair or something like that, make sure to call report back over there. I think that's it. Performance appraisals. I know that some of them were very brief. If you want to connect and talk about your review, you're obviously entitled to that. So just reach out and we can figure out a time to meet up and talk about it. I do want to remind everyone to look at what the numbers actually mean. People see like a 3 and think that that's like a C. 3 is meeting the expectation. Like 3 is doing your job well. So just remember that. Like, the way I think about it is 3 is doing your job well, 4 is like department changing, maybe hospital changing, and like 5 is hospital or system changing level performance. So don't take those personally either. I think that's all I've got. You guys have dealt with a lot of hard stuff lately. What was it, last Sunday with your 4 STEMIs and 2 patients who were arrested right in front of us, well, right in front of you guys. Just remember to take care of yourselves, because what we do isn't easy. It's needed, but what we do isn't easy, and trauma season is coming. So make sure you're taking time for yourself. I think that's all I got. You guys feel free to reach out with any questions or anything like that. Thanks, guys.